Welcome everyone to our discussion of remote viewing target 140813. I'm Teresa Frisch, and we will be discussing something very unique this evening. I'll be turning the presentation over to Lynn Buchanan here in just a moment, and I wanted to thank everyone for sending in their sessions and for Lynn to share this very unique target with us, which I'm going to let him explain. This is called the Story Stone. If you've ever been to Lynn's home, which most of the viewers who are in attendance tonight have not, you will have seen the Story Stone. I did not have a picture of it, so that was a bit of a problem. So your target feedback, literally until just now, had just the text. And so Lynn sent me this picture, or two pictures, that you're looking at here. And this stone is actually featured in his book, The Seventh Sense, and it has some very unique qualities to it, which I will let him explain. But part of the reason that I did not ask him for pictures until right now is because I didn't want him to know what we were working on tonight, and it would be a surprise for him as well. So this is an outbounder, actually, because he's going to give you feedback. I'm going to turn the program over to him and let him share his desktop, because he has this document, which I am capturing for the recording for anybody who just wants to sign on and see what the feedback is. And I've also sent him a big document with several of the viewer summaries and sketches, and I'm going to be working on a second document, and I will email that to you then, Lynn, and you can show those last two viewers, okay?
Okay.
But as you scroll down through the summary, they'll be divided by their name. It will be there, okay? Just right. So you know what it looks like. But if you might have looked at it already. So, all right, let me stop sharing my desktop and change it over to your desktop. Okay, control of the event has been given to you, and you should see share my desktop, hopefully.
Okay, I can't see anything coming from your machine though.
No, you won't. Now you should have a button there that says share my desktop someplace.
Oh, great. Okay.
I made you host. Let me make you presenter. Maybe it'll like that better. Okay. Passing presenter privileges to Lynn Buchanan. Okay. Now, do you see up, let's see, on the left-hand toolbar, there's a quick start, and if you click on that, it'll share my desktop pops up.
Okay.
And something's changing. You think you're fine. Hang on. There we go. Perfect.
Now then.
Perfect. Now we're recording yours. Yep.
I can. Okay. Let me just start out by saying that this was a surprise to me. I can give you part of the history of the Story Stone. I will not give the rest. Okay. The latter part, the last part of the history of the Story Stone, of course, is I put it on my shelf in my training room. Before that, it was in my home in Maryland, and before that, I had taken it to the military unit, and we were working on protection schemes, how to protect people, places, and things from being remote viewed. And we developed a method of protection. One of the reasons we were doing that is because there is no protection against CRV, or there was none at the time. And so anyway, we developed a method for protecting locations. We developed another method for protecting people and another method for protecting things. And this thing is what we tried it out on. And the protection is very specific. Anybody can view this stone, but the history of the story stone, if you try to view the history of it, what generally happens is you just get all kinds of garbage, and it feels good, but it's just sort of incoherent, doesn't make sense. That will get rid of most of the viewers. If you continue on past that, what generally happens to people is they get a flood of emotions, and usually the emotion is giggling, happy, funny, and they'll say red, ah, ha, 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 tall, ah, ha, 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 and things like that. And that will get rid of most of the remaining few of the people who want to remote view this thing. The people who persevere beyond that, beyond the emotional part, will start getting a really good session. And I mean, it feels good, it makes sense, everything clicks. I mean, just the perfect remote viewing session. Trouble is, it's all wrong. What develops is this thing will start giving you a story. And the story develops in your mind, and it's a different one every time you do it. And in fact, I keep hearing of a guy who lives in France, in Paris, who is viewing the story stone, sticking through until the story starts coming through, and he's making a really good amount of money writing short stories and getting them published. And it will give you a good story. You can't predict what the story is going to be. I've tried this myself. I don't know how many times I get a different story every time. I have no idea where the stories come from, whether they come from your mind or not, but it's always a surprise to me that, when I see the story, it's always a surprise to me. I was thinking, that's not in my mind, So I don't know where the story comes from. And that was the protection that we put on this, was the history of the story stone. Now, a lot of people have done the history of the story stone. They've come to me and they've said, here's what I got. And it's all wrong. It's a story. And it's total fiction. It's all wrong. And so they'll say, well, what was right about it? And I've said, no, you're not going to nickel and dime me to death to where, you find one little fact this time, another little fact, and you logically put all the little facts together to get the history of it. And so I have made the agreement that if anybody actually views the history of the story stone and can tell me with close to 100% accuracy, then the first thing I will do is I will ask them how they did it, because they will have unwittingly broken the protection on the protection method. And if they do that, I want to know how it's done. Then after they tell me how they do it, then I'll tell them, but anyway, that's the last part of the history of the story stone, is that we took it to the unit, we put the protection on it, and in the last 27 years now, nobody has ever come close to telling the history of the story stone. Now I can also give you part of the beginning of the story stone, and that is in the image itself. The image is pre-Columbian. The image is of two guys sitting across a table or a pot of some kind. Looks like maybe a little cauldron or something that would brew tea in or something. And one guy is handing a cup to the other. Now, in all of the pre-Columbian stuff I've seen, see the little curlicue there? That stands for talk, not for steam or something, or, you know, wind or something like that. That always stands for talk. However, I've always seen it in all pre-Columbian stuff as being horizontal and in front of a person's mouth. And that means, you know, that's the symbol for talk that's on the stela and all. Anyway, the hats are special, which show some kind of rank of some kind. One interpretation, you know, I've taken this to some experts. One interpretation is that maybe this is steam coming out of the pot, or maybe from the shape of it, it's designed to look like a snake, which was a medicinal thing in pre-Columbian times. The snake was a symbol for medicine and healing and all that. So there are different opinions as to what that little curlicue is. But the hats definitely show rank. There was also some disagreement about whether it's two different ranks in the same culture or whether it's two different cultures, like the Olmecs and the Toltecs or something like that, who were meeting and having a meeting. And so there are all kinds of interpretations of that. But anyway, the one thing that we know is that this is a depiction of a meeting between two people who are sharing something. In between, I have tracked down, and I know the history of the Story Stone, and in order to find the feedback on that, you just have to get it close to 100% right before I give any feedback. The reason is I want somebody to break that protection and then teach us how to do it. And that's very important, I think, even in today's military, is how to break the protection that different countries might put on their people or their locations or certain items. Anyway, that's the Story Stone. And like I say, a lot of people have viewed the Story Stone. You get the shape of it. A lot of people have even sketched part of the pictures, you know, the depiction on it. And the Story Stone itself is not protected. What is protected is its history from the time it was made until the time it came into my possession. Anyway, is anybody asking? I can't see, so is anybody asking questions or anything?
No, not yet.
Okay. On this, let's see. Viewer summaries?
Yeah.
Okay, move to the target and sketch it. Okay.
I included their sketches and their summaries.
Oh, okay. This is a structure, but it's not a building. Okay, obviously. Land, and this is not the type of building that would be there. So biologicals, let's see, many, multiple, human, yes. Male and female, I think they're both male. Pretty much 100% sure they're both male. Busy, eclectic, these are pretty good. Quick motions, I kind of doubt it. Business-like, what happened? Business-like, possibly, probably. That meeting was probably business-like. Land, cement-like, no. Brick-like, urban, can't feedback. Stony, gray and brown. The stone itself is stony. Need to quit clicking things here. It's white with black specks in it. Let me all right. It's white stone with black specks in it, as you can see here. And those black specks are all through the stone. Brown, no. Okay, structure, tall, angular shaped, diplomatic, important concept. It is taller than it is wide, and thickness is about half of the width, so it's very flat on the back. This whole thing, fact is, I never have measured it. Let me get out a ruler here. This whole thing is a little bit more than 3 1/4 inches high. So it's a very small thing, but it is vertical in nature. Angular shaped, it's pretty rounded. Diplomatic, probably. Important concept, I would think so. It was important enough for somebody to carve a stone, so I don't know. Okay, the target is cement-like smell, no, and taste. I have never tasted this stone. Nope. It tastes like cryptocrystalline quartz. The temps at the land are hot, and there are city sounds, horns and traffic, no. See, and here's where the story starts. Probably what's going to happen here, I haven't read the rest, probably what's going to happen here is a story will develop. And there's semicircular, okay, structure is narrow and angular in shape, very tall in height, and there's reflective glass-like bluish colored luminance to the structure. There are concepts of diplomacy, right, and importance, right, related to it, as well as further concepts of a national nature, can't feedback. There are flag-like man-mades at the structure, no. And here's where the story begins. There's a doorway, an entrance, exit, that's square with, semicircular shape. And it sounds to me like you got past the emotionals and actually got to the story part. If so, and you try this again, you'll get a different story. And if you keep with it, the story actually unfolds and becomes usually extremely interesting. Okay, the inside of the structure here is, of course, solid stone. So the biologicals at the site are human composition, both male and female, can't feed back. This could be a wife serving her husband tea or something over the cooking pot. I have no idea. There's a concept of working feeling amongst them of productivity. They're clean smelling and business-like in attire. They're average size, weight, and shape. There are microphone sounds and a feeling amongst the bios that they're being heard. Further concepts relating to the bios are agreement, sounds good. Diplomacy, peacekeeping, human rights, sounds good to me. The bios are grouped in an orderly pattern, right? There is a white projection device with visual images that are square in shape. No. Screen-like tangible uniforms present for the purpose of guarding, and can't feedback on any of that, of course. So, see, was there a sketch there? I guess not. Okay. The target has aspects of man-made, right? Object, right? Biologicals, right? Land. If you look at the bottom of the stone, there is a line going right straight across there. So I would not discount the idea of land, okay? First man-made appeared to be an object which was rectangular, open, surrounded by a wide flat area, which had a perception of being enclosed somehow on its periphery. Strange way to describe that, but I think that's a very good description of the stone itself. There was a feeling that the ground surface was hard, and also a perception of number of biologicals scattered around the area, as if it's a gathering place. Here we have conceptuals that look like, look pretty good. The second man-made gave the appearance of being an extremely tall structure which towered above smaller structures below it on all sides. The biologicals around the first man-made object seem to include brown-skinned figures, possibly female, wearing long, graceful attire. I would probably agree with all of that. Where is it? There it is. 50. The attire is graceful and flowing. This is a different side picture of it. Is graceful and flowing. Whether this is diplomacy, like I say, this could be a wife giving her husband a hot meal. How archaeologists get, if there's anything you dig out of the ground, it's bound to be religious. And so, one said, oh, it's religion and all that. Somebody else said it's just everyday life. Another one said, no, it's the meeting of two diplomats. And there is no definite hard feedback that any of the experts have agreed on so far. Experts never agree. There were other biologicals perceived, those in a group which seemed more mixed and appeared to be emerging from a large, slightly curved opening. The front of this is curved, and they are carved into it, at least. One of them appeared to be carrying something rather large in their arms. There you go. Various other perceptions of a complex or development, probably not, of elevations, possibly graduated, probably not, of water or liquid, can't feed back, possibly, of children with backpacks, nope. Anybody perceive the story getting started here? Of someone lying on the ground and someone else bending over them, no. Of a basket-shaped object with what appeared to be interwoven lines or decoration which is resting on the ground or floor. Very possibly so. Can't feed back. Some sort of association with something which is in printed form, no. Sketching, curved opening, Here you have the story stone. You have multiple people. There are only two, but okay, group of biologicals. One appears to be carrying something. You got that right. And here's the building, of course. I'm not sure. This is probably, oh, the side view looks like ground, and here's the building. Not sure what that is either. I don't know if this was intentional. I would like to ask the viewer about this. This is the Mayan number 63 right here. In Mayan number, I mean, sorry, of 18. In Mayan culture, each of the long is 5, and each of the short is 1 each. And usually these are represented by dots, but many times they're also represented by short lines. So this would be 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm not sure of the significance of that. Two people here, that's about all I can see on that. Someone up on something in a crouched position. Looks good to me. There, both of them. McDonald, okay. No PIs, good. A Ginger, Tom Ginger, cool down. And started. Ideogram, okay. Prison. Where's the, oh, okay, went immediately into stage 2. Man-made, straight edges and curves, cool to the touch. Yes, the stone stays amazingly cool all the time, even on hot days when, you know, it's hot in the house and everything. You touch this thing and it's cool. Bright, sunlit, light-colored, vegetation, grass lawns, tennis court, maybe not. Pathways, roadway. This is absolutely waffling here, okay? I will make no bones about the fact that this is absolutely waffling. The pre-Columbian roadway system beat the Roman highway system hands down. And in order to get that, all of the tribes had to cooperate. And so very possibly, you know, this is the cooperation. Now that's total waffling. So I have no idea if that's right, but it's a possibility. Who knows? Water feature, golf course, no. Paths, pond, small building, sheds. Car park. Okay, here's where the story's in full swing right here. Sketch 4, ledge. Oh, these are the sketches, okay. Ledge, private. Break. Somebody famous lived here. Sketch 5, outside view. Windows on curved wall. Oh, I see, that was the one that looked like the checkered sail there. White floor mosaic, or maybe that is. Bird detail on floor, stony mosaic, rich decoration, lots of fine detail. This is lots of detail, and yet as a pre-Columbian art piece, it is not highly detailed. I mean, there are so much better. I've got other pieces of pre-Columbian art that are just extremely finely detailed and make this look like a rough sketch. Fine plant, budding shoot, smaller building, 1-story, boat, curved roof. I would not discount the perception of a curved roof. Rear door, complex, joined in the middle. Cat sketch. Timeline. Okay, let's see. Timeline. Constructed 1834, rebuilt after 1880, present. Vegetation described. Grass, walnut trees, oak, maple. Not around here. I live in the middle of the desert. Okay, site was home residence of historical 19th century person. Is not close to the coast, at least a few miles inland. Main house has 2 separate wings joined by a very ornate and imposing entrance. Site has a pond, small lake, and is beautifully maintained. Feels very familiar. Perhaps I have visited a place designed by the same architect. And here is, like I say, the story. If you had gone on with this story would have developed and developed and developed into a personal memory or into a series of events that would cause the beginning and end of the story and so forth. Okay. Notice, by the way, I did not give feedback on that. Okay. I perceive the target site to be flat land with water, hot and humid, and very busy with varied biologicals. Feels like there's a lot going on. Many people engaged in work and other activities. Land seems to be by a large river. Okay, this is straight into the story. And let me tell you, if you got a story on this one, it's because you're viewing well. It's not because you missed the target. The target, basically, when you get tasked with the story stone, the history of the story stone, what you're going to get, if you're viewing it, is a story. And so for those people who are thinking, oh, gosh, I missed this, maybe you didn't, you know. The main colors I see are black, white, and green, small amount of yellow, red, and blue, primary colors. And like I say, this is white with black dots on the stone. Now, as far as what was at this meeting, if this is a record of a meeting, rather than a person just, well, wife giving tea to the husband or something like that, you know, a domestic scene, even still, I can't tell you about the colors that those people are long gone in history. Lots of movement, transportation of object. Okay, dirt and chemical smells, no fishy smells, but I seem to be getting it from the deck of a boat. Engines of vehicles and boats, oval doors, something like a steamship. Okay, a lot of activity with biologicals and machines, bird-like sounds, hissing, clanging. I sense what seems to be new construction in the area. The town or village that I seem to perceive appears to be old, with a lot of history. Here we go. But there seems to be a new structure nearby, like a big stadium. Okay, back to the story again. There are feelings of something once having been a high school or part of it. Okay. There seems to be smaller buildings to the right of this. And, you know, as far as this meeting or this event is concerned, this is the only feedback I have of what is being depicted here. So I can't feedback on any of that. The ideas in the air, there appear to be old and rough in places. There are also pentagonal structure in the area. The ideas in the air are about business and making profits, very possibly so. There's also specifically seems to be a business here in cleaning vehicles. I think that would be llamas and donkeys at the time. My AI is that personally, I'd rather find a clean, peaceful place out in nature somewhere. But as always, I love to explore new places, so anywhere I've never been is intriguing. This is my second one to hand in, and I think I've tried too hard and got into castle building. That is what you're supposed to do on this target. This target forces you into castle building. That's part of the protection. And if you didn't castle build in this, you would be getting a private email from me or a private phone call saying, hey, how did you do that?
Which I have every faith that one of them might be able to do that. So that's why I had them do this.
I keep hoping. I keep hoping that someday.
There's nothing that says that one of them might not be able to crack it.
That's right. And I'm hoping so because, you know, this is very important. I mean, we would be foolish to think that the U.S. is the only people who have learned to protect targets. In fact, there were targets that we had when we were in the military that we found to be protected and we couldn't get to. And one of the things we did successfully was say, if there weren't protection on this, what would I see? And all of a sudden we'd get the target. Now we've tried that on this method of protection and it doesn't work. So keep trying, good luck. And if you find out a way to get past the protection on this target, I want to know, and so does the government, okay? Let's see here. Here again, that round top shape. Of course, you know, AOL of doors, okay? And it's not a door, it's a stone. Something big near like a stadium. I don't know where that would be. The Bahamas, Brazil, World Cup. Solid entry, okay. Cable-like, no. Now here's a neat one. Here's one that an analyst would cue in on. See this going across and those going down? Take a look right here.
Yeah.
It's there, and a good analyst would cue in on this thing. Now, flap-like is part of the story. Structural array, complex. Not really, but notice that there are 3 nails. And this is something else that an analyst would key in on. The other things, 1, 2, 3. I'm sure you've heard that that remote viewing sucks when it comes to numbers. The fact is that your sketches don't suck when it comes to numbers. And so when you turn in sketches, analysts will actually look at things like this and count, okay? And so there's a lot goes on with your subconscious mind that never makes it to your conscious mind as the viewer, but an analyst, if they're well-trained and experienced, knows exactly what to do with them. Okay, landy, man-made, energetic, outdoors, watery. Like say, can't be that cooler climate, higher elevation. Need bodily awareness, dexterity of hands, very possibly. I'm saying very possibly an awful lot on these because as far as what this depicts, even the experts disagree on it. And so all I can say is possibly. Male voices, some sit, okay. Hair pulls around, darker complected. That's the second time, and the pre-Columbian people were dark complected. Uses hands, triceps, shrugs, and shoulders. Metallic, wears protective shoes, gloves, don't know. Facial maybe jowls. Looking across below. Raises on toes, leans forwards, bridle lambs. Okay. Description of rapid defeat and jumps. All of this is a story starting. Description of the landy part of it, the landy aspect, mountainous heights. I would think that's accurate. Knowing where it was found, I would be pretty sure that's accurate. Rough, soil bumpy, loose, dry, some finer sand, okay, bramble bushes, vegetation may be useful, sunny and outdoors. This is probably a good descriptor. Colors, wooden, silver, streaky, speckly alike, beiges, skin tone, lime greens, blue, gray, coppery, shaded. Textures, this entire stone is smooth on all sides and even on the bottom. It's rounded on the bottom. In fact, I've never told anybody else, but there is another story stone, and it is the other half of this stone. And anyway, pole-like, hardwood, many clothy, plastic, rippling, furry-like, black person's hair, type, tall, confined, a roofed structure. I would accept that, yeah. Arched, yeah, with decking, steps, halls open, okay, in a row, vegetation, thin, long. Okay, you see where all of these start actually getting to where they make sense together. And generally what happens if a person is building castles is all of the random perceptions start coming together and making a story anyway. When a person is just remote viewing and just basically off target, the random perceptions do not tend to come together and mean anything. And so what we would be looking for here is where things start actually forming into like castle building, where they start making sense with each other. May pour fluidic from a barrel like, okay? May be foody, may sip, okay? So you see there are perceptions coming in here, and also the stories being forced into the viewer's mind. Okay, and this is a retasking, or this is just a second session? Okay.
No, that's just the way Russ views.
Oh, okay. All right. Describe landy again. Any flat, sandy. Can't feed back on most of this. Elevation seems higher. Everybody's getting a higher elevation, and we live in the high desert, but I don't think that's what everybody's getting. I think everybody's getting the higher elevation of whatever went on here. And I trust remote viewers, okay? Primitive structure, roofed, left of
They have been getting anything from where it was in Maryland, where you found it?
Maryland is right, basically at sea level where we were. So,
but I didn't, yeah.
Yeah. No, that wouldn't.
Without you revealing anything, you know, for all I know, it was at the top of the Washington Monument or something, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carrier ferries, spreads out. I am surprised by a lot of people getting boats. Like I say, I trust viewers, but I have no way to feedback on this.
I wonder if it's like the Nile or something. I know that's waffling. It's conjecture, but.
Yeah, well, they're, the Amazon is actually longer and bigger than the Nile, so.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. So that's possible, yeah.
And those are Russ's sketches.
Yeah. Lime. That's see if I'm reading that right. I guess that's lime.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing to have over a door or a doorway or a entrance into a mountain. Anyway, sketches with perceptions spread among the sketches.
Yeah.
Whoa, lots of perceptions.
Yeah, and he's actually, Russ hasn't turned anything in for, I bet, pushing a year maybe, maybe 8 or 9 months, and he took a break. But yeah, this is a lot better than it used to be.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he at least lines things up now.
Yeah.
But like I said, you, just to let you know, you have 2 more documents in your inbox. One that has maybe 4 viewers on it, and then one all by itself at the end.
Okay, let me go see if I can get that.
Okay, and just so you know, we can see your mail, so
I know.
we can see your files and everything. Just saying.
What am I doing here? Oh, there it is. Okay. Check mail. Oh, it didn't crash because I'd left it open. Okay.
Oh.
Old righteous. So I have 2 files here? Yeah.
You should have, yeah, documents 2 and 3.
Okay. See what comes of this one. All right. Okay. Stewart, good. Man-made motion, bioorganic. Okay, good.
And that's John Stewart, by the way, who's not here. So Stuart Edwards is here, and his is coming.
Oh, okay, good. Human, female. Like I say, that's very possible. Under 50 years old, probably dark-haired. Yep. European or Mediterranean? No. Seated position. Hey, doing pretty well. Stationary with arms extended in a posing-like position. Very good. Female has an air of importance. He's viewing the stone here, and that it is good. This is all descriptors of the stone, not about the history of the stone, but I'm getting pretty impressed here. Air of importance, reverence, ambiance, ceremonial ambiance, yeah. Female is center of attention, don't know. Clothing is dress-like, costume with pink and white colors, female is holding. Bioorganic number 2. No.
Snake.
The snake, yeah. Organic number 2, non-human, plant-like, more than one, many, small size and grouped together, curved bundle-like shape, held by human above the ground. Bios have red, orange, and white. See if I can. That's a very interesting concept there.
Which thing?
That it's plant-like and bundles.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. Man-made has aspects of structure, stony block-like construction with rough surface texture, heavy, very old, dark gray or black weathered color, standing alone, simple construction, not ornate. Structure has ambiance of reverence, memorial, monument purpose. Structure seems surrounded by abundant foliage around the exterior. There are also different opinions as to what this is, whether this is a ceremonial pot, a ceremonial table, who knows what. The guy that said, oh, this is religious, said that that was a sacrifice table and all this, and I don't believe any of that, but he was one of those archaeologists where everything is religion, The motion is gentle, holding, comforting, ambiance, ceremonial ambiance. It's pretty sharp here. Flowers, bouquet, dress, arms, church, jungle, plants. Okay.
That's his sketch.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. 1, tall tubular-like lattice-like structure. Grays and dark blues are prominent. Center high focus and trailing arm. Part of the
Just
arm.
so you know, you're on a new viewer, okay?
Oh,
Just
I
so
am?
you know. Yeah. His name, there you go. This is Stuart Edwards. Yeah. The sketch above, yeah, that sketch goes with John Stewart. And I didn't put his, yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So now you're on Stuart Edwards. Okay.
I was wondering why we had all these numbers and only 3 here. Is a curved capsule, is more curved design and made of thinner materials. Within the capsule is a person. They have taut skin. Okay, here you go. See the story starting to unfold here. And they have taut skin, might be wearing some kind of glasses or goggles, and so on, the above structure, and it just builds and builds and builds. There are people milling about, form of human security personnel. Historically, something cruel has happened here, and so on. It could be early evening, and the heat of the sun is still present, yet cool breeze. And I mean, you can just see you could go on with this and have a novel building. And this happens generally when a person is sticking pretty well to structure, and in fact, the protection was built on the process of remote viewing, and not just CRV but remote viewing, and how to every time you go into a new phase of remote viewing, there's a new trap for you. And so when you get through all these traps, if you haven't quit by then you may get the history of the storystone. Just keep on going. Don't give up. Inside one of the structures is dark, creepy, and artistic, though appears to have past cruel energies. Can't feedback. Location of large enclosed landscape. Can't feedback on any of this. I would tend to say that this is a story that has developed. Million, okay, lattice. And this lattice, I'm not sure what that lattice is. Curved, brightly colored. This is just part of the story. Okay. Biological movement, man-made, energy, and liquid. Okay. Yes, I would say yes to all of those. Predominantly green and blue, hole-like, open at top, wide. Maybe talking about this or about this. Not sure. Elevated sides in reference to base, flared out, narrowing toward the edge. Sharply edged, cutting in places, circular shaped, container-like, holds something biological. It would appear that that she is viewing the stone, and I was hoping more people would. I always hope that somebody will view the history of the story stone accurately and not build a story. But I know for, especially for people who are just learning, having a story built, tasking somebody with the history of the story stone can be defeating if they don't understand that you're supposed to build castles in this. Multiple biologicals, males and females, flowing hair, engaging in physical activity that has multiples, few, waiting above, watching from above, monitoring physical activity. Not sure. Wind flowing, moving material, moving wind, moving hair. Can't feedback. Ascending movement upward, launching. Here we go in the story. Looping at the top, releasing of energy at the top, looping motion, downward descent, floating, flying, gliding, and here's the story that develops. I think started out viewing the stone, and then the story nailed her.
But as I was talking to you on the phone, there are at least a couple of viewers that I was questioning what that stone depicts, you know, yeah. the scene that's going on, that maybe they moved in time and are viewing that history instead of the manufacturing of the stone and where it was located and what the purpose was and all of that.
Yeah, so, and that's very possible.
And without knowing what that scene depicts that's carved into there, you know, we can't say.
Yeah, but. And the sad part is I have no feedback about that.
Yeah.
I have plenty of feedback about it from about 5 different experts. And like I say, experts never agree.
Right.
2 black conical shaped, hard, solid, open in the center. Sheet blanket. Materials light colored. Crackly reminds me of parchment, paper food wrap. Pliable, soft, billowy, wind, and affiliated with the looping action. And I think all of this is just, I think she was just nailed by a story.
Yeah.
Which means that although she missed the target, she was doing good viewing. Energetic, noisy, cacophonous. Overall, there's an outdoorsy, playful, fun, and entertaining quality to this target. The activity is exhilarating, enjoyable. I'm sorry?
Nothing, I smiled.
Oh.
I chuckled.
I heard you smile, yeah.
Yeah, I exhaled when I smiled.
Yeah. The environment feels unique and beautiful. The land element feels a bit unique and otherworldly. The activity feels very physical. It feels like the purpose is to reach an apex and then fall down into a hold opening. There's a synchronicity to the activity. the multiple bios are engaged in like a performance, but not for others, mainly for themselves as a group. There's an elemental cosmic quality to this target. You, of course, move 100 feet above the target and enter from different sides. And knowing the pre-Columbian culture, I would say this would not be that accurate. Now, if you were in North America with the Indians and they build their kivas like this, and you enter from different directions and sit in the middle and so on. But that's not a pre-Columbian structure.
And then for her retasking, I forgot to go back up to the top of the document, but I moved her to the assigned target and asked for her to describe any aspects of the history that she might find.
Oh, okay, good. Oxy-rectangular structure constructed of heavy, thick, possibly wooden beams fitting together, raised above the ground by additional post-like heavy supports. A triangular-shaped nosed area that extends outward, part of the structure, but distinct and separate in some unknown way. Feels important to the scene. The entire structure is angled downwards, like it's in the act of leaning forward precariously. From what I know of pre-Columbian architecture, none of this would be considered an accurate description. Small-sized, heavy, dark, metallic-y, solid ball, which reminds me of a cannonball, which is airborne and is dropping or falling. Bios, multiple males working together, helping one another, a great deal of motion, climbing upward. And so, you know, here again is a story developing, something spiky for the motion, possibly fire, possibly so. Is at the base of the man-made. Okay, it reaches upward to the bios and the structure like it's trying to get them, or bios think that it is, or like it's trying to get them. It is a massive energy like fire that's moving and spreading. The liquid is covering and engulfing some part of this area. It feels like it's touching or involved with the motion and energy. It feels powerful and rushing. Coloring, great deal of blue, grays, and browns. There's a battle-like quality to this target. Doesn't feel like this event takes place in present time. That's right, because it involves some type of simple fortress and has less complex atmosphere. There may be a ship involved there again. Wonder why that keeps popping up. The ball feels weapon-like. The bios involved are escaping, something dangerous to them, and so on. And this is all part of a story that's developing. Like I say on this one, everyone who has done this now knows what the target is, the story stone. If you task yourself knowing, you know, task yourself with the unknown, that being the history of the stone, and do this over and over, you will tend to get different results every single time. And generally, if you get going on something like this, go ahead and go with it. Last time I did a session on the story stone, even though I know what the history is, I pushed through it, and what I finally got was somebody walking along, and there's a man in a yard, and they stop and say hello, and he says his wife died and he doesn't know what to do, and so the person then goes and helps him get help and, you know, hospital and and going through the process of losing a loved one and so on. And in the process found out all kinds of things about the death process, you know, how funeral homes do and how funeral homes take advantage of people and other people take advantage, insurance companies and all that. And it developed into an entire story about this poor man losing his wife. And obviously, you know, obviously it was a story. And
unless that's a medicinal thing there.
Could be.
And then they're viewing the history back in the day.
That could be. Who knows? But the thing is, you know, if I viewed it again and went all the way through it, I would probably get a story that's not any way related to that. So, hatched bios come out here, curved over this. Here again is that vertical dome shape right there, and that has popped up in a lot of these. The structure and such structures were not pre-Columbian in nature.
She likes towers.
Yeah.
All right, so that's document 2. You have one more viewer on document 3.
Okay, let me see.
I was just kind of hoping that you just never know with this bunch if one of them might not be able to crack that.
I know. And like I say, I keep hoping. I know how we did the protection. And so I know the structure of the protection itself. And I never have been able to break it. So, like I say, I keep hoping. It's like the Gordian knot, you know. Nobody could figure out how to untie it until somebody came along with a sword and went chomp. So we keep hoping. All right. MB. Target has aspects of land, man-made space, motion, biological, and water. There's the water again. And the water is definitely there. Let me have too many things up here. Okay. The land is tannish golden in color. It is low soiled or thin
I'm trying
soiled.
to make it out too.
Yeah, thin soiled.
Okay.
It's very soft to the step and gives way. It's very puffy collapse like a farm field in drought. The land for this target. Oh, this is a lot of tactile stuff. This is good. Seemed high, northeast. The land is rugged, farmish, outskirting open with broad vistas. It was arid, bright, and sunny, more rocks than trees, windswept area, prone to flash floods. The land is mostly unpopulated with a crunchy road made of tiny stones that make it slippery. The land is straighter and flatter from the south to the north. There's a gentle curve to the land, almost a broad hill lower at west, climbing a bit higher east. The land at this target seemed to have distinct plateau area facing the corner edge, northeast. There are tough, thorny shrubs that remind me of the Mediterranean, okay? Tough, thorny shrubs, you bet. Oh, that part I'll let you know. Oh, more. The man-made is a crude, strong structure with curved arches. Appears to be 2 stories high, with a high outer wall shell. The man-made is long, dimly lit corridor with, okay, here again, the stories start. Polished cement floors of dark swirls, metal stair rails, has an oasis, has an oasis vibe as it is in the middle of nowhere. Something this man made put me in the mind of In Between Outpost. There were light bulbs hanging from dark corridors. I think he's mixing the actual target of the event with the story. And this seems to happen a lot, that many of the things that are real, you know, in the history and in the story and all that, or in its history and in the supposed event, will seem to fit their way into the stories that develop. Many types of things under one roof. There was a cohesion factor to this site. There were doors with metal bars at the top half as in an old bank. There was a warehouse feel due to tall, wide boxes stacked throughout. There is a cool temperature inside without much natural light. The space of this target is about the serious business of waiting. Can't feedback. Not much friendly conversation. There's a space. Can feedback. Everyone has agreed that this is a friendly conversation or situation. Like I say, every time in pre-Columbian art that I've seen this, it has been horizontal, kind of like a wave, and it will curl out of someone's mouth, and that shows that they're speaking. The space has something to do with being able to meet the needs of a small village, possible. There's a museum quality to the space, possible. It appears to be an exchange of some sort. Items get rationed and carefully counted here, and that was very much a part of pre-Columbian culture. Footsteps make an echoey sound, and there isn't much natural light. There are radios being used, something for news and music. There's an emptied out feeling of a ghost town. It seems items here are much needed, but most people are too afraid to come here. The motion was like that of a forklift and dock doors. And other motion was movement like pulling stock into bundles and strapping boxes together. Bundles maybe, boxes no. The biologicals appear to be business front men, can't feedback. They act simple, but love
Finer.
Finer, expensive things, as in watches, rings, and so on. They are slaves to shipments, as in odd hours that are profitable or unpredictable. They were males 30 to 50 years of age. These are nonsense positions, and they are happy to have a job. They work their own business. They're informers, hidden here, not here, or meticulous.
Yeah.
Most here are meticulous money counters. They serve as go-betweens for favors. This is all very, very possible in describing these two people. The water near the target is a river that slants across the northwest area. Large cement well here and also a large tank of liquid. There are hygiene areas like public restrooms and also kitchen-like facilities within the man-made that have water stacked, okay, without much natural height. I'm here and I'm happy to describe this target. I'll try for above first for an overall look, okay, and road going off into the mountains and so on. Water, and this is what he was describing, you know, to the west, to the east, off into the distance, north and south. Here again, that shape. Everybody's getting that shape, but and drawing it. Like I say, what your mind interprets, what your conscious mind interprets, is not dependable, but not always dependable. But what you draw, you're going to draw some accurate stuff. It never fails. First arch, okay, longer and more narrow space than broad. Almost like streets or lanes inside old warehouse or market area. And here is the shape, but it's incorporated into the story. Creamy yellowish glass panels, kept feeling, okay. If you were to look at the story stone from above, the carving is right in here in this area, and the back is flat. The edges are rounded and so on. You can't tell from this, but the story stone is very narrow front to back. Long bend section to panel along natural light in from the very top. Okay. Okay. I am very impressed with the way that people were getting the target, and yet anytime the story stone starts causing you to have castle building, it takes over. And the most experienced, the most highly trained remote viewers, same thing. You know, when we put protection on this, didn't realize that we put protection on it that we couldn't break. But that's the way it's been so far. But you know, the natural elements are coming in, and I think everybody was caught by the story stone, feeding them stories and causing castle building, which is a natural thing with this target. I know names and dates of exactly where this thing has been, where it's been what it's been involved in, and so forth, and like I say, even with that knowledge, when I go to visit to view the story stone, I get a story. I get the random perceptions, and then the emotions, and then all of a sudden a story. And so this is not one where if you didn't get the target, you know, if you didn't describe the target, you have to feel bad about it. Nobody can view the history of the story stone, or nobody so far has been able to. So anyway, interesting target.
I always had this feeling that it was sitting on a corner shelf in a dusty, dark place like a secondhand shop. That's the story I always built. I never wrote it in session, but in my head. That's the story I built.
When you say Alamogordo, you say dust.
Yeah, but it's not from there. You said you found it in Maryland.
No, I didn't find it in Maryland.
Oh, what did you say about Maryland?
I had it in Maryland.
Okay.
And I took it to work one day when we were developing protection against objects.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
that object was unique enough with a unique enough history that I selected it as the guinea pig for being protected.
Gotcha.
But I had that long before it was protected. And many people have said, oh, I'll just move to the time before it was protected and get it. We did too good a job. I don't care when you move to, even if you move to the time of this event, you're still not going to get the history of the story stone, or nobody has.
Right, and like I told you, I think that that's what at least some of the people were doing. They're viewing the actual, whatever the history is that somebody made that stone to represent. But, so in that case, without feedback, we don't know, which I actually know a couple of people in archaeology. I'm going to send them a picture and see if they recognize anything. And then you will have at least that much feedback, and you'll know that some of these stories aren't totally castle building. They're actually viewing some history.
Like I say, experts never agree, and so I mean, a simple thing like the hats, or this little curlicue, or even that whatever it is between them. I've talked to 5 archaeological experts who are experts in pre-Columbian archaeology, and they don't agree with each other. So, yeah, go ahead and ask somebody about it, but
I know.
Realize that you're getting an interpretation.
You never know; it might be sitting in some dusty museum somewhere.
Well, right now it's sitting here on my desk.
No, I meant the thing, the scene that depicts. There might be another one someplace.
There is another one someplace.
It's the one that's the other half of the stone.
The other half of the stone.
Whoever carved it, unless they totally made this up in their head, they may be replicating something in history.
Maybe, yeah. Like I say,
that's what I meant.
This may be a domestic scene of, some artists just wanted to do a domestic scene of a wife serving tea to the husband or something like that. Who knows?
Who knows? Okay, so that is our
interesting sessions, though. Very interesting sessions.
Yeah.
I'm glad you gave this.
Yeah, I don't know. Some leprechaun sat on my shoulder one day and made me think to do this.
I blame leprechauns, I tell you.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and take my desk or the presenter role back.
Okay.
I think.
Good luck.
Yeah. Do me a favor.
All right.
Right click on my name and see if it comes up with change role to. Down here along the right hand side.
I'm not getting anything except my desktop. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. You see a list. Yeah. I'm at the very top.
Oh, great.
If you right click on it.
No, what happened was I click participants. It came up with a totally black screen. I don't know if you can hear me now or not.
Yeah, we're good. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but the screen starts blanking out, and then just it's like the computer's not even turned on.
Well,
so
you're fine on. You are fine on our end. Please don't shut anything off.
Right.
Okay.
Clicking on Teresa Frisch.
Yeah, that would be me. That would be correct. Right click it.
Right click it.
Yeah.
Allow to annotate. Change.
Change to. Change role to. Because if he doesn't save things, then we lose the whole recording. If he just ends it. Oh, reclaim host role. Oh, please. Aha. I'm the host again. Lynn evidently signed out, it looks like. So that made me the host. Hallelujah. Okay, and hopefully the recording is still going. Looks like it is. Okay, so hallelujah. Let me bring this back up so we can end on it at least. Okay, thanks everybody for coming, and we're going to have a presentation on topology and culture in a couple of weeks. I'm going to present that. We'll have another target next month, and that will be September. October is going to be really busy. I'm not sure if we're going to do 2 targets, 1 target. There will not be a presentation because I'm presenting in Knoxville in early October, I think. Yeah, 7th, 8th, and 9th. I'll be in Knoxville presenting CRV to a group of nurses. And so we're looking at the end of 2014 already, and gearing down, actually. I know it's still August, but time's flying. So thank you for coming, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording and save things, and I'll get it up on YouTube as soon as possible. And again, this was a very interesting and different type of target because it's in Lynn's book, The Seventh Sense, and whether or not anybody can break through the protection and ever be able to remote view the history of this actual stone, not the scene that it depicts, maybe, don't know. I feel like we should be playing Twilight Zone music about now. So anyway, thank you very much for coming, and I think we're going to call it an evening. Night. Thanks for sending your sessions, too. Keep practicing.